and welcome back to another episode of Full Metal Analysis. It's been a minute since we talked to you guys. The last time we came out, it was Super Bowl time. We made our picks on that. I know I made my pick. It was completely wrong. It was all the way wrong. Damn it, was it wrong? Um, but yeah, man. So the Eagles are the Super Bowl champions. We got a lot to go over. Since then, free agencies, firings, hirings, draft picks. We can go over a little Piston stuff, but first off, man, Marcus, man, this offseason is starting to is piling up, like looking like it's gonna be crazy, man. Uh, the Lions have hired new coordinators, fired new coaches. I think we talked about a little bit about that in the meantime, and we're starting to bring in and let go of a lot of players, man. What are your thoughts on the players that we've let go? Do we resign them? Who do we resign? And who do you think might be available in free agency to replace them?
Yeah, man. It's been a lot going around the league recently. Even today, I saw a report that Minnesota is looking to not only bring back Sam Darnold, but they are also looking to extend him. The Chiefs, that
would be a mistake.
They still got, imagine that a quarterback that you think is done in the league gets sent to your team and has a phenomenal year, and you extend them. Who does that?
Sounds familiar.
But yeah, man. Here we go right here. Yeah, it's been a lot going on in the league. If you look at the Lions list, we talked about this previously. All the guys that the Lions are looking at re-signing or allowing to test free agency. Michael Badgley, he's as good as gone. We talked about it off the pod. Yeah. Derek Barnes just signed that 3-year, $25 million contract.
It's only $16 million guaranteed though, so basically 2 years.
That's an interesting contract because I could just say I wasn't the biggest Derek Barnes fan from the day they drafted him. He finally started to show something, in my opinion. Towards last year, towards the end of the year before that, he finally started to show something.
If they had let him go, would I have been okay with it? Yeah, the fact that they re-signed him, I don't have a problem with it. He's had some key moments on the field. Mainly the interception he had the first year we made it to the playoffs to seal that game, and then he missed that last year. Last year he missed that safety on Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? And he was looking to have a pretty good year this past season until he got hurt, for the whole season. So is he gonna be that standout player? Is he gonna regress? I don't know. But I don't know, man. I know you've never been a Derek Barnes fan, but I think he does add something to the defense.
I think he does add something to the defense. He is probably our best blitzing linebacker on the team. You could say obviously Anzalone can blitz, but Anzalone is typically found in coverage or run stopping. And that says more about the team than it does Derek Barnes as far as him being one of our best blitzers. I could have done without this. I could have if another team was willing to pay him like you said, I would have been perfectly fine with that. You want to basically Brad Holmes, in my opinion, is bringing him back to see if he continues to grow. It took a little bit of motivation. It took them drafting Jack Campbell and Rodriguez really showing up on the field to get him motivated to get out on the field and show what he can do. So, it'll be nice, but really, it has nothing to do with Derek Barnes. A little bit to do with Derek Barnes, but the fact that you re-signed him, we talked about it. It kind of dwindles your need for a linebacker. You can still see the Lions easily pick up a linebacker in this upcoming draft, but the idea that you pick up a linebacker in the first 3 rounds is probably unlikely. Maybe in the 3rd round, but first, 2nd round, I highly doubt that. And you also are out here. Brad Holmes is out here explaining to everybody how important cap space is and how we need this money for going forward and the guys that we want to bring back and so on and so forth. And then you go out and you give, $25 million to Derek Barnes. On the on, on
All right. I know you want to get to it, man. Let's just get to it.
I got you. I'm getting it. On the doorstep of saying that we don't have enough money to bring back Carlton Davis, who was our best.
Right, there you go. There you go.
Our best cornerback on the team last year. I just think it might be a slight mismanagement of funds.
Okay, so it's just like what I was telling you, man. You asked me a long time ago, would I bring Carlton Davis back? And I was like, yeah.
No matter what. That's what I said.
and I said no, I wouldn't bring him back no matter what. I wouldn't bring him back no matter what. I would bring him back depending on how much money he was asking for. And I think Brad Holmes is playing a bargaining game. So the Lions, so Carlton Davis asked for at least 20-something million a year to bring him back, and the Lions offered him $12 million. Do I want to sign Carlton Davis for $20 million a year? No. Do I think that $12 million a year was enough to bring Carlton Davis back? No. Somewhere in the middle, yeah. Now, my number to bring Carlton Davis back will be anywhere between 17 and 15 mil. I will be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Lions may shop Carlton Davis around. I mean, let him scan the market, see if anybody's willing to pay him that $20 million. And if no, then he's got to come back to the Lions like, okay, so you played the game. There wasn't nobody out there willing to give you the $20 million. Hey, okay, we got 15 mil for you. What's up? And then Carlton Davis like, well, what about 17 mil? And then we're like, okay, what about 16.5? And then if they can get that done, I'm with that all the way. All the way, I'm with that. But not for 20 mil, man.
This is, you play that game with Jamal Williams, who also is looking for another team again. Because he was not as good as maybe he thought he was. And even when nobody offered him that money, he still didn't come back, which was fine by me. But Carlton Davis was hands down your best cornerback last year. People harp on the fact that he's been injured throughout his career, and we didn't really see that. He missed, I want to say he missed like a game or two mid-season, and then obviously his season ended on a broken jaw. Now, if you want to tell me that somebody has they got a hamstring and every week they're questionable and we don't know if they're going to play or not, and then that's you want to get rid of them because of that, I'm fine with that because I'm with you. I can't trust that guy. But a broken jaw, man, that's a freak accident. It's unlikely to happen for the rest of his career, I would imagine, and I could live with that. What really bothers me is if the rumor is true that they really did offer him $12 million, even if it was to start a negotiation, I would go. I don't want to go as far as to say I would have spit in Brad's face, but that really is a spit in the face of Carlton Davis and his camp if you bring $12 million to the table?
Well, I feel like that's the first rule of bargaining, man. You offer an unreasonable amount at first, and then even if you're on the other side, you start off with a high ass number. Like if you're Carlton Davis, you start off with the highest number you can think of, and then you know what I'm saying, but you expect to get lower. Or and the same thing on the Lions side, you start off with the lowest number you can think of, and then you expect to pay higher. I mean, that's just the first rule of bargaining. So I'm not mad at it. Um,
What's the difference
now
between coming to the table offering 12 million and coming to the table and offering 6 million there?
I mean, like, it's unreasonable, but it's got to be in the ballpark.
Right, and 12 million is not in the ballpark. That's not even because on top of the fact that he played a great year last year, you already because
it's $3 million less than what you really want to offer him.
Then just offer him the 15 million because if you look at you got to look at the market, man. You got to look at the market, and it's not reasonable to offer somebody less than market. Now, if it's Marcus Davenport, go ahead, offer him less than market. Nobody is on the market for Marcus Davenport unless you could get him off the discount rack.
You offer Marcus Davenport $6 million.
You offer him less than $6 million.
That's what I'm saying.
Veterans minimum. But
that's what I'm saying.
If you got a guy like Carlton Davis, you don't disrespect. There's no reason to disrespect him like that unless you really don't want him to come back. Like,
but Carlton Davis knows the game, man. Carlton Davis knows the final offer is not going to be 12 million. When they came to him with 12 million, he knows that that's not the final offer.
But when they traded for,
he's been in the league long. He's been in the league long enough to know how this game works.
Right. Well, it's a business, and in business, you shake my hand, I shake yours. I don't shake your hand, and then when I come back to shake your hand, you don't even know me, which is what they basically did because you got to think when Carlton Davis got traded, me and you went back and forth, and you was right. We went back and forth. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? Carlton Davis got 3 years on his deal. And you like, no, when he got traded to Detroit, they reworked his deal, and they basically took him out of his contract and got him on 1 year. So, I mean, they couldn't just do that. I feel like there had to be some type of negotiation involved where Carlton Davis had to relinquish those years and relinquish that money. And so now I'm coming back. I played hard for y'all last year, and now you want to come back and offer me 12 mil and on hopes to get me for 15, 16 mil, which again is below market value. That's Carlton Davis is worth more than $16 million. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. Like, Jalen Ramsey is not Jalen Ramsey anymore, but Jalen Ramsey is making north of 19 million. Jair Alexander, Green Bay Packers, he just got paid a year or two ago. He's making north of 19 million. And then all the other, not all the other, but a lot of the good cornerbacks in the league are rookies. They're really rookies. So they're on their rookie contract. So go get you a rookie. You got Terrion Arnold, you got Rakestraw, and then even Trayvon Diggs. He's making north of 19 million. So, Carlton Davis is looking. You think I'm gonna make less than these guys when I'm right on par with these guys? That's crazy. It's crazy talk.
I don't know, man. I feel like the Lions have a little bit more to work with. They got other guys they got to pay, and you're trying to make it work. You're trying to make it work, so you're trying to get the guys you can afford at reasonable prices, so you can bring other guys back. And you may be right. Carlton Davis doesn't have Jalen Ramsey. Carlton Davis doesn't have Jalen Ramsey's name. The only reason Jalen Ramsey is getting that amount is because of his name, and a name goes a long way in offering NFL quarterbacks. So shit. OBJ is only making as much money as he making for his name, but we all know he's not the same player that he is, but he's got the name. To your point, a few days ago, you asked me about Bosa. Bosa has a name, you know what I'm saying? But we all I mean, don't nobody expect big. I mean, expect some from Bosa, but he's not a he's a he's a above average player, but he's not a elite player. But he's got the name, so his contract is gonna demand that he gets paid that money. But Carlton Davis it isn't that household name. Like we know Carlton Davis because he played for us last year, but he's not a household name across the nation. And you know what I'm saying? So yeah, he probably is worth that money, but when you bring up Jalen Ramsey and all those other guys, yeah, they're making that much money because they have the name. When you're trying to bring back other guys, man, you got to make some compromises.
Well, I mean that's a whole nother discussion because then I ask, are you bringing back the right guys? But we get into that shortly.
And then when Carlton Davis went out, I mean, Amik Robinson wasn't too far off from Carlton Davis when he stepped in for him.
If we look at the Lions schedule next year, they got to play Chicago with Ben Johnson. Chicago has invested in two starting offensive linemen already. The free agency hasn't even started yet, but they've already traded for two offensive linemen. Green Bay, we know who Green Bay is. Like I said, there's a rumor out there that they might be in the race for DK Metcalf, another top 25 receiver in the league. We know Minnesota. I talked about Darnold likely coming back and getting a contract. So we saw them last year with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Dallas is what it is, but you got CeeDee Lamb. The Giants, Malik Neighbors, Cleveland is trash. Pittsburgh is trash. Pittsburgh isn't trash, but as far as receivers and quarterback, they don't put any fear in you. Tampa Bay, Baker, Baker.
Pittsburgh identity is a mystery right now because we don't know who their quarterback is going to be.
Yeah. Tampa Bay still got Mike Evans. Chris Godwin might be gone. So we'll see how that goes. But then you look at their road games, and, I mean, you got to see Jaden Daniels again with DK Metcalf, with Terry McLaurin, Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, Chase, and T. Higgins just got franchise tagged. Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, Kansas City, their wide receiver just got arrested. So, but it's still Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes and Matthew Stafford, who just got re-upped with the LA Rams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. So my whole thing, man, is I don't think that Brad is going to go into next season with Amik Robertson, Terrion Arnold, and Ennis Rakestraw as his foundation. I mean, they will be part of the foundation, but I honestly think I wish I had the list. It's a really good list, but there are a lot of cornerbacks that are available in this free agency. I've gone ahead and relinquished the idea that Brad's going to go out and sign a cornerback who's 26 years old to a 4-year deal, and we'll have somebody going forward. I'm more in the camp that I'm expecting a Darius Slay or a 30, 31, 32-year-old cornerback who maybe gets 2 years and has had a decent NFL career. That's what I'm in the camp of, but I'm absolutely of the mind that Brad's got to go out and get a cornerback.
I mean, yeah, I think he does need to get a cornerback, but if you went into the season with Amik Robinson as a corner, Terry Arnold as a corner, and Rakestraw as a slot, would you really be mad at that?
Yes, I would. I wouldn't have been mad at that last year, but this year, I mean, we're playing the best. We're playing the best teams in the league in our regular season, and I our defense. We still got Brian Branch back there. We will likely get a deal done with Kirby. Kirby's still under contract, so we still got Kirby as well. But we haven't.
Well, you put Brian Branch back at safety because he played better at safety than he did at slot.
Yeah, but we're assuming that Rakestraw comes back and he doesn't miss any time. He missed a whole season practically last year, so to say that he's going to be healthy all year, I wouldn't bet on that. So now you're really just looking at a Meek and Terrion, that's where you were at last year, and we haven't done anything to address the opposite edge. But I know you're content with rolling out with Zadarius Smith again, but just that
No,
defense,
I wouldn't
man.
say. No, I wouldn't. I'm not content with it because you already know my number one goal in the draft this year is to get an edge or no or to. Well, I mean, I don't know who's all available in the free agency for edge, but my number one goal is to draft an edge to put opposite of Ada Hutchinson, and I think if you can get a good edge, then that will make up for if there are any holes in the secondary, that a decent edge will make up for the slack that you're missing um, in the secondary. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. I think that Brad Holmes will uh, feel because the Lions are all about depth, so I can assume that he's gonna get another corner no matter what. But it's just about paying the farm for him.
So on this list right here, we got 21 names, and of the 21, to my knowledge, only 2 have been re-signed at this point. Derek Barnes and Ezekiel Turner. I don't know who Ezekiel Turner is, but they brought him back. So
I think Ezekiel Turner was a defense. I want to say he was a defensive lineman. He did all right. He did pretty.
Nah,
Huh?
I read the comments, and the comments were saying he was a linebacker that was not good at coverage. And then I look at this list, and they got him listed as a safety. So Ezekiel Turner is a mystery man.
No, he was either a D lineman or a linebacker. I can't remember. I know I seen him out there. He did okay for a couple of games. He's not somebody that you want in there all season long, but he's a good step up. I mean, like if somebody gets hurt, somebody you can throw in for a little while.
Yeah,
I'm sure they didn't offer him. I'm sure they didn't offer him a big contract. No, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I was about to say he's the type of guy that you offer $300,000 to start the negotiation.
Yeah,
but,
I agree.
but if you look at this list, the most I got to say about this list is that there's a lot of names that we know on here. Carlton Davis is probably the biggest name, and outside of that, these are a lot of guys that we've grown real familiar with, but they're not, they're not the foundation of the offense or defense. But at the same time, we see a lot of them, and they do a great job when they are out there. So all this list tells me, if all these people are allowed to test free agency, is that nothing is really a lock in this upcoming NFL draft as far as what Brad's going to do. Because if all these guys end up walking, then he could really go wherever he wants to, best player available.
Well, I would say you got to bring Tim Patrick back.
I would think that it would make a ton of sense to bring Tim Patrick back after all of the, it felt like it was pulling teeth to find Tim Patrick to replace Josh Reynolds, which is amazing how hard it was to find a third wide receiver. But Tim Patrick, they finally found Tim Patrick, and he fit like a glove. So I don't really see any reason. I would honestly have brought back Tim Patrick before I brought back Derek Barnes. I would have prioritized that over bringing back Derek Barnes. But I'm with you. Maybe. But then again, maybe Tim Patrick is trying to cash in on his revival here.
The 3 names that I would have that I would consider bringing back over everybody on this list would probably be Tim Patrick, Carlton Davis, if you can get a deal done, and maybe Craig Reynolds. But even if you don't get Craig Reynolds done, Vaki was a solid replacement, man. So I'm not even mad at that if they don't bring him back, because you got replacements in that thing. And if you don't bring Carlton Davis back, like I said, you got Amik for a backup, and then to your point, you can bring in somebody like Slay or somebody to pick up the slack.
Well, some other free agents that some notable free agents that I could gloss over real quick. I know we got the New York Giants. New York Giants.
What about Anzarike? He had a decent year last year. Would you bring him back?
That would just fuel my fire even more if they brought back Andre and Carlton Davis did not have a contract. New York Giants. Linebacker Azeez Ojulari. The Giants got banged up last year, and they got down to, if you was healthy, you was starting at that point. And Azeez Ojulari got drafted like 3-4 years ago. Never really blossomed the way that the team wanted him to. They got him listed as a linebacker, but he was used as a DN, edge rusher. I liked what I seen out of him. He had one good game, I think, against the Jets on like a primetime game. I think he had like 2 sacks in that game, and I was gung ho on the Lions going in to make a trade for him during the trade deadline, but the Giants didn't do anything with him. They just let him sit. So it looks like they're going to let him walk. And I'm good. I'm good with that. I would absolutely love it if they brought this guy in. If you told me that they signed Azeez Ojulari and Derek Barnes didn't get the contract, I wouldn't be mad at all.
Well, what will be the ticket on him?
I couldn't tell you, man. I look at all these guys. Like I said, the only thing I can tell you is that this is a player coming off of his rookie deal, so he's looking for his second contract, which is typically he's looking for 3 to 4 years minimum. He's not looking for a 1 to 2 year deal unless he's on his way out the league, and in that case, he's not really worth signing if he can't garner a 3-4 year deal from a team. But I don't think it's going to be outrageous because, like I said, he didn't do enough to garner being traded. He didn't do enough to garner being re-signed. So I don't think he's a bad player, but I don't think he's going to demand the bank either.
Well, I wouldn't be mad at that. I mean, the reason I bring it up is because I see a lot of Lions fans across the nation still talking about Myles Garrett and Trey Hendrickson, and it's like, yeah, of course those would be great pickups, but once again, just like Carlton Davis, I mean, what do you have to give up to get those guys? Like, I mean, how much do you have to give up, and what do you have to give to get those guys on the team? Like, is getting a Myles Garrett or Trey Hendrickson a realistic thing? Like, I thought we were trying to get realistic picks, and for one, we know Brad Holmes is not really into big names like that. You know what I'm saying? He likes to get, fairly above decent, average names, above average names, and spread that out across the team. and spread that out across the team. So, like, I mean, why are people still bringing up Myles Garrett and I mean, maybe Trey Hendrickson, but still, that still sounds like a big ticket to me.
It definitely is, and you're right. It definitely is not the MO of Brad Holmes to go out and get guys like that. I did see the rumor that was floated out there saying that the Detroit Lions were the most active team last season in trying to acquire Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. That was an eyebrow raiser. I was surprised because, like you said, we typically don't see Brad associated with big names. But Myles Garrett is a top 5 player in his position, so everybody's going to ask. The fact that he was trying to get him, though, that makes me feel pretty good. I don't think it's going to happen. As far as Trey Hendrickson, I think that will fit a little bit better as far as money wise because Myles Garrett, like I said, top 5 to your point, a household name. Trey Hendrickson, not so much, but I saw a stat that said that he's led the league in sacks the past 2 seasons. So, it would be. I think Lions fans are still holding on to that because they see what's on the horizon. Like I keep going back to, man, this schedule next year is no joke, and the Lions, in my opinion, need to do something because the schedule they played last year, they had some battles with Minnesota. 2 of the biggest games of the season were against Minnesota, but outside of your division, we fell flat against the Buffalo Bills. We fell flat against the Washington Commanders, and then I just felt like a lot of the season was us beating up on a decimated Dallas Cowboys team, a decimated San Francisco 49ers team, and people that are trying to figure out how to put their shoes on in like the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans.
Well, I mean, are you really scared of the schedule? Okay, so last year we had essentially the best record in the league besides Kansas City. Us in Kansas City had the best record in the league. Would you want to have that again, or would you rather us play better in the postseason and take a couple of more L's than and be more prepared for the postseason than winning a whole bunch of games during the season?
I definitely see what you're saying and where you're going, and I agree with it in principle because I feel like the season was a little bit too easy and they weren't mentally prepared for the postseason and going against a team that isn't on the bottom half of the league. So I agree with you on that. But where I got to disagree is that I don't think that the postseason next season is guaranteed.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. So essentially, even if we won, let's just say 4 less games, we still make the postseason, I think.
We won 4 less games, that would put us at 11 wins, and I think that would get us into the postseason. But I would say that 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. If you told me if I stepped into the future and I found out that they won 8, 9, 10 games, then I would be like, yeah, that sounds about right. Because you got to think, man, the Chicago Bears were the worst team in our division last year. The Chicago Bears were like 4-13, I think they were, and even with that, the NFC North had the winningest record of a division in NFL history. So the Bears aren't going to. My point is, the Bears aren't going to be that bad again next year. They've done something to the offensive line. Not only do they have Ben Johnson, which is a plus on their part, they took Ben Johnson from us. So, we're just assuming that this offense is going to pick up where it left off last year. And I got to see it, man. I got to see, I have no distrust in Jahmyr Gibbs. I have no distrust in Amon-Ra St. Brown, TJ Hockenson, Sam Laporta, the offensive line. All of that is good. But, bro,
yeah,
let me see what it looks like. Let me see what it looks like when Jared Goff has a new offensive coordinator that he's never worked. Well, I don't know if he's ever worked with him before, but let me see what it looks like with Jared Goff with a new offensive coordinator.
Okay, yeah, but essentially, besides Ben Johnson, we had essentially the number 1 offense in the league last year, and I can't see it being too much different than what it was. Like, if we still have the best offense in the league, and we have even just half of the injuries that we had last season, and the defense can hold up to that standard that they was holding up to last year in keeping teams under 20 points in the first half of the season, I cannot see us not making the playoffs.
Again, you are speaking of Jared Goff picking up this new offense as though it is a given, and I'm not there. I'm not there. In reality, I could see, just that first game, and we can't wait to see what the schedule looks like. But honestly, I could see a number of things, man. But in that first game, maybe it's a rough game, and then he comes back, and then the Lions end up starting the season 7-2, and then they start the film gets out, and people start seeing it, and then depending on what the schedule looks like, what our back end of the schedule looks like, they might go 3-5 to end the season. They might go 4-4, and we don't know what that looks like. So I need to see the schedule, and I want to see the reports on how Jared Goff is handling this new system and what he's looking like, because the last image we have of Jared Goff is turning the ball over 4 or 5 times in a playoff game with no answer, and the full complement of pieces were out there with him.
All right, I want to get your opinion.
Detroit